Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Actually Comics. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined today by Bob. Hello, Bob.
Speaking at the right time.
You are speaking at exactly the right time because I cued you to that time. Now we're coming back to me, and we're going to talk about comic books and go. Sorry. Definitely on autopilot. My fake shtick about being on autopilot really turned into me being on autopilot. So, yeah, sorry about that. It's been a hell of a week, and my brain is barely here. But thanks to everybody who helped take care of my cat. Everybody who spent money this week. Gave money to help my cat get surgery,
Yay.
Which did not cost the $5,000 we thought it was going to. It was only $3,000.
A bare
paltry $3,000 to fix my cat.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about a sick cat when it's actually sick is that it's like a bare minimum $1,000, no matter what, whether the surgery is involved or not.
God,
like it costs us like $1,500 just to find out our cat had diabetes.
Ugh.
Let alone like the treatment and all that shit.
Ugh. It's a sad story, but
cats.
You can't help it. You love them.
You love the cats because of toxoplasmosis.
I mean, thanks to the shit that they put in my brain, the literal shit that they put into my brain, I love them. Just the same way that rats get desensitized to their presence because they have inhaled particles of their urine, and that makes the rats more comfortable around the cats, and then they get killed.
Nice. Well, cats do kill rats, which is a good thing.
I mean, they do.
If you had a rat.
I did have a rat in this very building at one point, and someone said, "You've got 2 cats. Why don't you bring them down there?" And I was like, "It's a wharf rat. It will fucking murder my cats. I will find 2 dead cats in the basement. I'm not going to do that. I will buy a shotgun first.
I don't want my cats to get rabies."
Well, also that, but I mean, that thing was the size of a cat and hissed at me when I came down the stairs one day, and I was like, I think I'm buying a gun. I was like, I think I'm going to get a gun because this thing is going to drive me insane.
How did you get rid of it?
I bought poison.
Ooh.
And I was like, fuck it. I know this is cruel and it's unusual and I should never do this, but it's literally making me insane that this thing is here and it's constantly around me.
I would be terrified.
I'm going to have to kill it this way, and I know it's awful. And I was like, and then at the last moment, I couldn't bring myself to kill the rat. I couldn't do it. I put the fucking poison on a shelf. I was like, this is way too inhumane. I can't do this. I came back the next day and the rat was like, "Oh, you had something really nice for me and you were hiding it from me? Guess what, buddy? I found it." It had eaten a hole through the poison box and had eaten all of the poison in the box and killed itself.
Oh, man. Did you have to get rid of it? Was it carcass down there?
And it weighed like 4 pounds.
Oh, gross.
It was enormous.
Yuck.
Yeah. So, it was gross.
Maybe we should put a trigger warning at the beginning
Trigger
of
warning,
this.
4-pound rat. Speaking of 4-pound rats, Action Comics is out this week.
Oh, it was better than I liked it. I actually thought it was good. I don't like rats, but I like Action Comics this week.
I thought it was a nice transition, even
good.
though it didn't mean anything.
No, it's good. I liked Action Comics this week. There was a bunch of stories in it. I'm not sure I like that new Superboy haircut.
I love it.
Tristan loves it.
I feel like I was being, it almost feels like I was being reactionary to you because you showed it to me and you're like, look at this thing, it's terrible. But honest to God, I looked at that and I was like, pretty cool.
Maybe I just could have been I don't know. Like
it just reminds me a lot of the '90s look. Like there's just something so it's very similar to. It's a similar type of redesign to the '90s redesign.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know, for that it tickled me because I love that '90s design.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it was. But it was the main story was actually really good, and then there was another story, and then there was another story, and I think there maybe was a 4th story. I'm not sure. There's at least 3.
God,
there's a lot in there.
That's too many stories. You know, and that's why Alice Ever After is the most popular comic out there today, is because
it just has one story.
It only has one story, and it's about Alice.
Yes.
And how she does ever after. There it is.
It's actually never after.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Damn it. Erase everything. Start from scratch. I have to put a warning on this for language. Everything else, because I don't normally swear.
We swear all the time. What are you talking about?
Here's some fucking...
Fuck you.
Here's some fucking Avengers, Bob.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that the regular artist of Fantastic Four is the fill-in artist for Avengers.
So that is such a
kind
sad
of odd.
thing, considering I think Fantastic Four sells better than Avengers.
Huh, interesting.
So I don't know why.
People like
but
that
whatever.
Ryan North. Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
I do. I
People like
certainly
Jed
like
McKay too, I think.
That's
I don't
true.
know. I've heard good things.
I actually like this Avengers run. I'm enjoying. I thought that we were gonna have. I like that we've had our villains morph a little bit, and they're no longer just like weird abstract shapes.
Yes.
That makes me happy.
That's good. They have
I mean,
arms and legs now.
I did like the abstract shapes. I thought that was an interesting thing. I am a little tired of the Superman-esque acceleration of powered villains that we're seeing across the Marvel universe. We're really seeing it in Thor. We're seeing it in Avengers, where it's like, oh, a god, I'm a super god. Oh yeah, I'm a super duper god.
I'm
and
a
it's just like, come
god
on,
butcher.
guys, come on. Let's just. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's really showing some of the
I-
potential flaws of writing these stories.
Well, yeah, because it's the folk. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's too shitty, but it's just like it's a lot easier to write the story of like,
Exactly.
oh, what if he has to fight or they have to fight someone that's this much more powerful than it is to be like, how do I make a story interesting that doesn't involve doing that?
Right. I mean, and spoiler alert for my opinions on Thor, on this Ewing Thor, as much as I like him and I think it's well written,
Yeah.
it suffers from this massively. Although what happens in this issue this week, I think negates that worry. So I am curious to see where it goes next time. We also have an annual that I did not read this week.
It's just that contest of chaos
okay.
thing but it's like the finale of it, and there's like some, honestly, this is I would say, like, if you're like a Marvel person who buys every first appearance character, like there's a first appearance character in it, but honestly, I don't really think it's like a character that anyone would give a shit about.
Do you think
But I don't know. I'm no expert.
Do you think that anybody in the room when they were pitching Contest of Chaos said, people are going to shorten that to cock, right?
No, because I didn't think of it until just now.
Fair. Okay, just me thinking about cock all the time.
I'm looking at this Thor before we get to it, so that because I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey,
Anyway.
nobody knows what I'm talking about most of the time. I'm going to try to shift this and make it less shiny, but I'm sorry, everybody.
Shiny for me?
it's just gonna
Should
be
I turn
shiny.
my dimmer down?
No. This is it's me. My
me.
setup of the comics this week was pretty crappy.
Hi.
Sorry, everybody.
I'm the problem. It's me.
No, I'm the problem. Batman Brave and the Bold, with this romantic Joker cover where Batman's holding him like the Pieta.
I guess this Batman Joker take from this run that Tom King and Jared's whatever his name is did is sort of divisive. I like it. I'm not a huge Tom King fan, but I do like this idea of like the Joker communicating in these like weird cinematic placards. I think it's kind of neat, and I like the art and the Black Up story. There's the two stories in the middle of this comic are just, I mean, I don't know if you're following them, I'm sorry, but they're not interesting to me. And then the last one is Batman Black and White, and it's that Jorge Fornes guy who I like a lot, and it's a great black and white Batman. When they eventually do a collection of these, hopefully they do them all together instead of doing like Brave and the Bold with all the stories in it. Hopefully they do like just the black and white ones.
I hope they do that too. That would be such a better way to do that, but I have a bad feeling.
Yeah, it'll be like, here, it's Joker and Stormwatch.
Yeah. Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I hear that Stormwatch is probably not that bad. I just like, I don't know. I just don't give a shit
I just
about
don't
it.
care personally. So here's an interesting one, and the prize for most pushed pun of the week definitely goes to the Batman Beyond Neo Gothic on trial with the Court of Owls. Who will survive?
Ah,
geez.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Gave me a stroke.
Kids. The fact that passed through editorial and everybody was like, no, go for it. We just don't give a shit about this book at all. It unfortunately points to that to me. Here's Speaking of interesting covers, we've got Batman Catwoman The Gotham War with Red Hood.
Red Hood. Yeah.
I pointed it out in the newsletter this week, but this fucking cover artist, I don't know how he gets work. I don't know if he works for free. I don't know what his deal is, but he cannot draw a human face to save his life, I don't know why.
I did not look at it that closely.
I mean, here, look at Catwoman. I'll just hand it to you. Sorry, everybody. I'm just handing Bob the book. And if you go back and look at his covers, he did a bunch of Flash covers, and you never see a face.
Yeah.
Like the faces are always looking at the floor, or they're like to the side. And this looks like he thought he was supposed to draw the Joker, and then they said, no, it's Catwoman, and he's like, oh fuck, and then just drew a mask over Catwoman really quick.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like just like there's like a shadow that's like pasted over Catwoman. I gotta say, like, I don't know, like, I don't like the armpit Catwoman costume that's currently in. I guess it makes sense that like she would need to have her armpits free so her arms can move around, but it's just like it's fucking comic books. Like, do you really need like that Darwin Cook costume is so good.
That's a poor excuse for that silly.
And
costume.
also, like, now you just shoot her in the armpit. And then
I would.
You know, like, it seems like a
That's where your lymph
vulnerability
nodes
to
are.
me. Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, you'd die if you got shot. You got arteries there. It's a bad thing to leave. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure there's some reason why they did it. I just
absolutely. She secretes a pheromone, a cat pheromone. That's where the toxoplasmosis comes from.
Nice.
All right. Bringing it all together.
Nice.
That's called putting a button on it. So we have to end the episode. Good night, everybody. No, actually, we need to talk about Betty Page.
It's the final issue of this, and when it comes out in a trade, if you didn't read the single issues, get it because it's really good. I like it. This is Betty Page comic. Is great.
Black Hammer, the end.
Oh yeah, Black Hammer. I forgot to buy this. Shit.
Look at you.
Oh, I'm a completist. I have to find out how it ends, but I hate the art.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I was not following Black Hammer, so this is far beyond me.
This is putting a bow on it, if you will. It's
Sure.
the finale of the series, and I want to know how it ends. But man, they could have chosen a better artist.
Speaking of putting a bow on
Sorry.
it, Blade loves to put a bow on things with a katana.
Ooh.
It doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. Blade #3 is out. I really like the art. I enjoy this book. I think it's pretty decent.
Blade.
I wouldn't say it's like the Blade book I wanted, but I would say that it's the Blade book I deserve.
Do you remember the comic they had with Blade, where he wore a Spider-Man costume that he found at a costume shop, and he was called Spider Hero?
Yes.
I was reminded of that this week.
I loved that.
Yeah, they should bring that back.
What the fuck happened to Spider Hero?
Spider Hero is
he
just
was
like
the best.
Yeah, he had like he said Spider Hero on his chest.
That's right.
And it was like magenta
that was
and like
hilarious.
green. I loved it.
That's a great callback. Bryn Mawr #3 is out. It has vampires.
It does. Underwater vampires. Or vampires that are underwater? I don't know if they are specifically underwater vampires.
You mean like on their mortgages?
They're underwater on their mortgage. They really should have planned for the amortization.
Yes. Conan the Barbarian from Titan. This is the new series that just looks like the old series.
Yeah, people love it. They love Conan.
People who like Conan, they like this Conan.
Yeah.
And people who like the Hollywood special from Dark Forces, Scott Snyder presents IDW #2.
I like this comic.
Is a comic book. I wish they'd just fucking call it, just have it separate from his dumb Dark Spaces thing. This overarching title is dumb, but yeah, sure, it's great.
I really like it. I think it's good. I liked the first issue. It is written by Jeremy Lambert, I believe, and that is the writer for some issues of the Gerard Way Doom Patrol run.
Yep.
Co-writer anyway.
Seems to have Jordi Belair in it.
Yeah, no, it's good. This is a good like old school Hollywood horror movie kind of thing. Like, this could be a good horror movie. Very good. Cool. It's like it's a strange premise. There's nothing that's really like, I'm sure there are tropes that it has in common with other horror stories, but it's speaking a language. It's pretty original. Like, and that's like, it involves a weird mine and a bunch of Hollywood actors from the 20s. Like, I don't know. It's strange.
It's a good place to keep your Hollywood actors from the 20s.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got Dead Lucky.
Yes.
We got Detective Comics.
Detective Comics good.
We got, speaking of really good, Elvira in Monsterland.
Oh man, what was that?
Fucking clever.
Public domain Thor.
Fuck.
That's the best character.
Cer-
That's the new character you want to get the first appearance of.
That is one of those things where, like, sometimes I'll just run across a character that I'm like, I could have thought of this character,
Yeah.
and I'm mad at myself I didn't.
Totally.
Public domain Thor, I think 100% is something that I'm mad at myself I didn't think of first.
Well,
It's
yeah.
such a good idea.
To the listeners, this Elvira story has been her like interacting with various movie characters, and so this one they bring in the Marvel cinematic universe, and it's like in terms of the other ones, it was all like really direct, like they just
Yeah.
used whoever, like stuff that isn't in public domain, but they just used it. But with the
just did
Marvel
it.
stuff and the DC stuff, they had to change
They're
it, I guess.
I mean, come on, it's fucking Disney. You wanna
Yeah.
be a little careful.
But I think they did. Yeah, I guess they didn't do anything that was just. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. But anyway, when they bring them in, it's like they all have dumb names. But Thor is just Thor. It's just public domain. Or public domain Thor.
so good.
It's really good.
Love it.
Very very clever. A good comic.
The Expanse, Dragon Tooth.
I don't know anything about The Expanse, so I don't know anything about this comic.
I don't know nothing about nothing. I also really don't know nothing about Firepower because I'm not following it currently.
Yeah, but it's good.
I know it's good because I have enjoyed it in the past.
Yes.
Here's a controversial one for me. I can't quite figure out what I think of this book.
What?
I'm somewhere between loving it and hating it. That would be The Flash #1.
Yeah, I brought it home. I'm a Flash fan.
I am a Flash fan as well.
And I liked it. There were things about it that I didn't love, but overall, I need to read it. Like I skim mostly when I'm doing this, so like
Diodato is just such a
I don't like him as the artist.
See,
I don't hate his art
same.
in general. I just
like his
don't
art.
like him on Flash. But that said, I didn't really hate it as much as I didn't hate it like I thought I was going to hate it, and I just kind of was like, I don't know about this.
That's
for me
what I
the
thought.
thing
I thought
that
I just didn't know about it.
for me the thing that bothered me was the script. Cy Spurrier.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
it was ultra complicated. Like it was overly complicated.
and maybe that's part of it. It was the characterization that I didn't love.
Oh, interesting.
I was following the it was a guy Jeremy Adams was writing it, and I was really into it. And when he was
amazing.
writing it, it felt like as a person who read Flash for decades, like it felt like Wally had like a characterization, and that was like they kind of got away from it, obviously, for years, and then with New 52 and forward from that, and then this last run really brought it back. And then this one, it's like there's pieces of it that are there, but it feels like fake Wally West to me. Like I feel like some of the things that he's doing in this, like he's lying to people about stuff that it's like, why are you lying about this? Like he works for Mr. Terrific.
That was the one thing I
Yeah,
noticed.
and he's like, have
about
you noticed any fluctuations in the speed? He's like, no. Like, why would you lie about that?
It
like, doesn't make sense.
There's a bit of sitcom writing in this.
Yeah.
that I was like, it feels like that. Oh, honey, she was no one. I was doing this, and then like these mistakes that are like set up mistakes from a fucking sitcom.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel like he's like
that's
the
not-
established Wally West is that he's
Right.
not dumb enough to make those
Right.
mistakes.
Correct.
So
I
that
agree.
felt something that bothered me. But overall, I'm gonna like with a thing like this, like especially where I'm a huge Flash fan, like I'm gonna stick with it for a couple issues. It's not a guaranteed that I will stay with it much longer, but I didn't. There wasn't enough to outright reject it for me.
Flash fact: Bob likes this book, kind of.
Yes.
But he really loves this old ass Flash.
Yeah.
With the Master of Mirrors.
Well, you know what I really love about it is like I have to have read this comic, and I just do not remember the Flash fighting a Minotaur ever, and he does, and it's great, and I am mad at myself that I don't remember it.
I understand. Oh my God.
Anyway.
Does it get much better than this comic?
No.
It really kind of doesn't.
I love it.
I like Godzilla as a character. I have been disappointed in 95% of Godzilla comics I have read in my life.
Yeah.
I am not.
It's hard to
even
get the cinematic scope of Godzilla in a comic
sure.
book.
I mean, some of the times when it works is when you basically see his thigh out a skyscraper window and somebody's just doing other stuff. But this is so amazing, and the art is so compelling and crazy and cute and weird and
I want to read this artist. He has a comic that someone
Yes.
told me about, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But who is the name of the
Jake Smith.
Jake Smith, and he has a cool comic, and then it's written by Andrew McLean, who does the Headlopper,
And he also has a new kaiju comic coming out through Kickstarter. That's why he's
cool.
doing this at the same time, because he's in the same headspace, and that's why he's not drawing this one, even though you would have expected him to draw this.
Huh.
Is
I got to
because
check
he's
that out.
busy with his Kickstarter kaiju comic, which looks fucking awesome.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. Is Headlopper not coming out anymore?
I mean, I think it's just on pause. I don't
Okay.
think he's
Yeah,
going to
I know it
stop
kinda
doing it. I
goes
think
in
he's just got another thing currently.
Cycles.
Green Arrow, number 4.
I like it.
It continues to be the Green Arrow book that I want to read.
Yeah.
This has been.
I could do
and
without seeing
continues.
Parallax again. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh,
whatever.
I hate that I loved it, but whatever.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I just I'm kind of really you have Green Arrow, let Green Arrow do Green Arrow things, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I just-
It's not like it doesn't have some.
I mean, it has a very
Relevance.
strong historical precedent
Yes,
for the
especially.
character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a moment of great pride and guilt for the character.
Yeah.
Um,
There was a cool appearance of a villainous DC character that with ties to the Green Arrow universe of characters that was cool in that I liked.
yes, Harley Quinn, is that the character that you were talking
It was not. Harley Quinn did not appear in Green Arrow.
Harley Quinn number 32 is out though.
It sure is. I'm not a big fan of this run.
Nope, neither am I. Invincible Iron Man number 10. It's the continuation of the wedding story from the X-Men, where there's a marriage of convenience between Tony Stark and Emma Frost, where they're just doing this for some sort of plan, and there is no actual relationship going on, and I don't understand it.
And they're and yet Marvel is totally marketing it as if
Yeah.
there is one. I assume to sucker in casual readers.
Probably.
Man, I fucking hate Jared Duggan. I'm sorry. I just really do.
I can understand it. I thought this was a fine issue. Whatever.
probably.
I actually really like the story that's going on through X-Men, so I was stoked to see this. Jean Grey number 2. I did not read it.
It's kind of a mess. I didn't hate it, but I don't really understand this Jean Grey comic.
Fair.
The point of it.
Captara.
It is very muscular, this comic. I flipped through every comic this week, at least. Every comic has at least been flipped through. I flipped through Captara, but I don't know what's happening in it. It's just some guy with roided out muscles is jumping around.
And he's
doing
very
shit.
gooey. He looks
Yeah,
like
he's green and gooey.
he looks like what's the name of that character from oh shit. Is he called like the Ooze? From one of those old what was Jim Shooter's offshoot from Valiant?
Plasm.
Plasm, that's the character.
Warriors of Plasm.
Warriors of Plasm, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes, you
He
got
didn't
it.
have enough veins.
Listen, they ran out of veins somewhere in 1998, and they just can't get back to that level of vascularity.
When George Perez died, they retired veins.
Yes, I don't blame them. We have, of course, my favorite book of the week. As always, it's always going to be what are you going to do? It's Unleashed. Come on,
Oh, yeah.
you got
It's like,
fucking
what, Connor?
Frog Thor beating the crap out of out of the son of Satan, essentially. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, that's
Yeah.
what am I going to
I
do?
liked it to kick the shit out of Craven.
Oh my god.
This everyone just needs to kick the shit out of Craven one more time and then just
Spoiler
get
alert.
it out of your fucking systems and leave Craven on the fucking shelf.
It would be hilarious if there's a big spoiler for this issue. It's possible they killed Craven. in
Nah,
this
they
issue.
didn't. I looked at it.
But it was really wouldn't that have
it's-
been a delight
It would have been.
if this silly comic about animal adventures resulted in the death of a major character and they never brought him back?
I would have loved it, but unfortunately,
We don't live in that world, sadly. Well, you've heard of other types of knots. What about micronauts, huh? You like garlic
for
knots?
a Bolin.
Okay. I like a bolo. No, I'm a fan
sheep shank.
of garlic knots. That's my favorite.
Oh, nice. Going in a different knot direction.
Yeah. But
I actually enjoyed
this
reading
is
this.
Such a great comic.
I really
love
enjoyed reading it. It's good, and Marvel does a good job with these facsimiles. I hate their paper, but like they look good.
Yeah.
They clean up the ads. Some other publishers who do facsimile editions don't bother to clean up the ads, and you notice.
It's distracting.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal of deals.
No, but it is.
Like,
it is
you
weird.
notice when you're flipping from page to page. It's like, oh, this one clearly has been in some kind of deluxe hardcover, and this one is just a scan of an ad.
Yep.
And that's cool and all. Like, I'm not gonna not buy the Flash thing. Oh, I just lit it out of the bag. But yeah, I appreciate that Marvel cleans up the fucking ads.
Yeah, I agree.
Extra step. It's appreciated. Good job, Marvel.
Yeah. And this is written by Rocket Raccoon guy Bill Mantlo,
and drawn by Michael Golden.
Yeah.
It's good.
Fucking Ace's team all
Yeah.
the way across the board. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are powerful and rangering.
Yes.
The Miracle Man, he's a miracle amongst men.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Marvel, she's a new mutant. This is an X-Men tie-in.
Yeah, she's mutating it up, and there's this weird, like, she trips out at the end, and there's a weird hodgepodge character that is in her fantasy world that I kind of liked.
Nice.
It's a mashup of Doctor Strange and the Silver Surfer.
Nice.
Out of nowhere, it's kind of like I had to go. I was like flipping, and I was like, I saw that, and I was like, I had to go back 2 pages, and be like, is this a thing? And then I realized that no, she's just hallucinating.
No,
but
it's too bad because that's pretty great.
she's like, what's it called? She's like lucid dreaming in a way. So she's
Yeah.
like narrating her own hallucination.
Nice.
But whatever. I mean, if you like Miss Marvel, you like this comic probably.
And if you like Monstrous, you'll love Monstrous.
I am going to take a brief moment to shout out something that Monstrous does that every fucking comic should do, that they do, and good job for it. There's a fucking recap page.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the fuck is happening in an issue of Monstrous, you can just read the first page, and it's like, here's the thing. And now, granted, it's like a novel, but like,
exactly.
and it's like, there's like, here's the characters. Here's and I mean, X-Men kinda, that's one of the things that X-Men kinda does good, except for it's like
They used to.
they should, what I would suggest to anyone who's doing this is like bullet points. Just bullet points.
Yeah.
Just do a PowerPoint. Just boom, boom, boom. Here's what I need to know. You can summarize it in a paragraph. If you can't, then
Yeah.
you know,
I
maybe
mean,
be like, for the previous story, check this, and then here's what happened last issue or whatever. Like, it's just do a recap page. There's too much shit happening in these
Yeah.
fucking comics, and
especially stuff like Monsters, where it's
Yeah,
like they're
which is a
trying to
gorgeous
do a Lord
book.
of the Rings level, like
yeah,
epic fantasy.
I've heard
It's-
really good things about Monstrous, and I hadn't read
Oh,
it
it's
in
phenomenal.
a very long time. But I was like, when I opened it, I was like, ooh, a recap page, and then
Yep.
it's like, oh, I don't have a day to read this, but still, I appreciate that they did it.
Yeah. I wish I'd
The
kept
art's beautiful.
some of our signed #1s that we had from when Marjorie Liu came by the store.
Oh my god.
And her now canceled boyfriend,
I don't know who that is.
Juno Diaz.
I don't know who that is. And
That's okay.
even knowing the name,
He's a
I don't know
Pulitzer
who it is.
Prize winning
Oh,
novelist.
right. That Juno Diaz.
Yes,
okay.
that one.
Huh.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize anything about those
yes,
people.
he has apparently been canceled
Ah,
for something he did. I didn't even read up on it.
it does happen when people are jerks.
It does. It turns out that when people are bad, other people don't like it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I mean, we've been doing it for years. We just started calling it canceling fairly recently.
It's
In
like,
the grand diaspora of human history, canceling is a word to describe not supporting dickheads.
right,
It's like,
exactly.
You know,
Well, I mean,
whatever.
but it's a very convenient way to describe how to not support someone who's an asshole.
Sure, it is.
And to be like, oh, hey, guess what? We don't have to
Yeah.
worry about this person anymore.
Don't need a paragraph when a sentence will do. As
Exactly.
is the byline of this episode of Actually Comics.
As yes, why use big word when little word work just
I mean,
as good?
hey, that's what's called editing.
It's so true. Moon
That
Knight.
sentence could have been edited. That's what's called editing.
That is what me call editing.
Yes,
Volume 12.
I've read many Bizarro comics, and so it's in my lexicon.
You are Bob Zarro.
I am. It's true, actually.
Moon Knight, City of the Dead, #3.
It's fine. I flipped through it.
It's fine.
I understood what was happening by flipping through it.
My Little Pony, you won't understand what's happening by flipping through it.
You're damn right about that. I did flip through it, and I had no idea what was happening.
New Burn, number 11.
Another one that I was like, oh, I'm kind of like, the art's really good in that.
This is definitely something that shouldn't have even been released as issues. This is
just trades.
This is like literally like this is what the trade paperback was designed for. This was not a comic.
I think some of these things should be done that way. I really do.
This
actually,
is Criminal. This is like the same kind of like concept as Criminal. You want to do it that way.
Okay.
The Penguin, number 2.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Nobody gives a shit about the Penguin. Hey, guess what? Here's a comic I liked. Power Girl.
Yeah, Power Girl was good. Yeah, I like it.
There's not much to say about it because there wasn't much to it. There's a big fight with somebody who fights Kryptonians, and she was like, "I'm going to fight you," and then she did something stupid and got yelled at for it. And
also a notorious Batman and the Outsiders villain makes an appearance. Yeah.
I've never read Batman and the Outsiders.
Well,
so
if you have read Batman, the classic Aparo, Mike W. Barr run, or Alan Davis, if you followed that into the later issues.
Well, luckily, I'm organizing all the comics that we have in storage, and so I have to figure out what I have, and I know I have a full run of those somewhere, so I'll probably try and look through that.
Yeah, they're worth reading. They're really great. You know who is a huge fan of those is Copra, Michael Fiffa.
Oh, of course.
Talks about it all the time.
I mean, I definitely got suckered in by a bunch of sensational She-Hulks while I was listening.
Those
to them
are
on the website.
honestly
They're
like
so
super
good.
readable. Like I don't give a shit.
Some of them are really fun.
I bought the trades used
really
a couple like I don't know, like a year ago or something. And I just like sat through them. Like it was like I couldn't put them down.
Yeah. No, they're funny. They're silly. They're just like fun superhero crap. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, Burn.
Baby Burn. Disco
Whatever.
Inferno.
Nice.
Let's see. All right, if you are looking for a time travel comic with more gay porn than you can shake a stick at, and that stick would be your penis if you were interested in gay porn, that would be Sainted Love by Steve Orlando.
So it's really good,
It
but
is.
it's full of things, like just like pages and pages and pages of people fucking, and it's like,
Yeah.
it took me, like I was reading, I was like, holy shit, this comic is really good. I love the concept. It's like 1907, and this like pugilist, like mustachioed guy is like, and he's got a trainer who's named Pat Sullivan, which is the creator of Felix the Cat. So I thought that was like a cool, like having a female whatever. It's a great story. It's fun. And then all of a sudden it's just like 4 straight, full frontal, graphic fucking.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to like say don't do it, but I'm going to say like it made me not want to buy it, and I was like ready to buy it up until, and then I'm like, I don't like I'm not some prude or whatever. I just like, I don't want to buy a comic of people fucking. I don't give a shit who's fucking.
It's not just that it's gay fucking. It's just that I don't need a comic.
Yeah,
full
just
of
don't
fucking.
want to read a comic about people fucking. Some people do, and this is this. But
it's for them.
the story of
We've had some people very excited about this comic.
the story
already.
is good, and the art's good, and the characterization is good, and the hook is good. It's like it's the time travel thing kind of comes out like we should probably. I mean, I guess it's probably in the solicitation, so we're not really spoiling it, but like. I didn't know it was coming, and when I was reading it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is a time travel comic!" But then there's like fucking, and then there's even more fucking, and then there's like crazy, like super, like
Oh my God.
multiple
It's
people
so
fucking.
Much. It's so much.
Yeah.
It's too much. But I will say that this seems to be the sweet spot for Steve Orlando.
Yeah.
I think I haven't enjoyed anything. Like I haven't felt like he's written anything good in a very long time, and I feel like this is really well written. I think he needs more like explicit sex in his stuff for him to write a good book.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't know that I agree with that, but
Go back and read Commanders in Crisis.
I mean, Commanders in Crisis is terrible, but like, I'm not saying that Steve Orlando doesn't have just as many misses as hits. I am saying that this comic, if you took the fucking out of this comic, or at least just like made it less like uncircumcised cock in your face,
but it's
ish.
what I think is so funny is that they have that, and it looks like an episode of Steven Universe.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
I think
like
it's the art style that makes it funny for me, or
It's
at
so-
least
it is-
It's interesting that they chose that.
it is sort of funny because I'm talking about it and I'm like, maybe I should have bought this because I did really like it.
It's
like I did. I thought it was
fascinating.
good. Like it's
Yeah.
a good comic. I just like I don't. It just I don't know the fucking
There you go.
like
It's weird.
It's weird.
No,
it's weird.
It's super weird. But if you were looking for a gay porn that has a really good storyline, you got it.
Yeah, like if you were like a person who like rented like the Hustler movies or whatever because you wanted to like porn with a plot, then you've got it here.
But I mean, it is
Lady
all
Chatterley's
it is
lover.
all gay. So
Yeah, it
if
is
that
all gay.
if that is your thing,
Yeah, it's
great.
Yeah.
The Schlub is out. It's still okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it came right after the last one in terms of alphabetizing, so I kind of skipped it because I was
Yeah.
just like I got too worked up talking about that other one.
It's just too much
I was
porn.
like, the Schlub, okay, it's a comic.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Amy's 30th anniversary. Apparently, she was created 30 years ago today. I feel like I'm talking about something in a blimp, and we can see that it took 40 pounds of helium to create Amy. She's brought to life by the fine creators down at IDW Comics.
Yeah, and it would if that other comic hadn't come out, this one would have had the most gay sex.
Yes,
in it
absolutely.
of
This was
any
the
comic
this
this
was
week,
the second.
but
This was the second.
the other
most
one beat it by a
penetration.
page.
Yeah, absolutely. Spider-Man India. It has nothing of any interest.
You know, I realized I lied and I said I flipped through every comic. I did not flip through Spider-Man India.
It was so bad. The
Yeah.
first 2 issues were so terrible that
Not.
I had no interest in even giving it a shot.
My favorite thing is they spoiled that the last issue is going to have a new costume for him that looks more like supposedly looks more like the Spider-Verse costume, and I'm like, it still sucks. Like you still like the whole thing is like Spider-Man India in that Spider-Verse comic is so fucking good, and like you have just I don't understand. They did the same thing with Miles Morales, where it's like he has this cool costume, he looks great, style's great, and they're like, let's put him in this weird turtleneck. It's like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
you really took the lesson of that movie and ran with
Yep.
it.
Perfect.
Anyway.
We got Spirit World.
Oh, I love Spirit World. I
Yeah.
wish it was ongoing, but it's not. This
It
is
is
only
too
2 more
bad.
issues.
We've got some Star Treks. It's interesting. They're doing tie-ins to Day of Blood, even with Lower Decks. So this
That
is
Ryan North one looks cool.
Yeah,
If
the
I
Lower Decks one shot is really good.
had any idea what was happening with Lower Decks or Star Trek in general these days, I probably would have picked it up. I feel like I could have picked it up and
Yeah, yeah.
probably would have been fine.
Lower Decks is a delight.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I find it really fun.
Derek Charm did the art.
Yep.
Cool.
And here's the regular normal Star Trek. That would be just Star Trek 12. And The Mandalorian Season 2, number 4 is out. That is a comic book. Who cares? It is just, you've seen it
Yeah,
before.
exactly. If you've seen The Mandalorian,
It's
you've read the comic.
literally just a recreation of that. Something that would have worked great in the 80s, back when you could only see something once in the theater, and
Right.
then you're like, oh, I want to relive seeing Gremlins.
Yeah.
Give me that Viewmaster reel with Gremlins on it.
Yeah.
But today I can just go watch Gremlins, so I don't need this.
Give me the single comic adaptation of Time Bandits. You know.
I would totally be excited about that.
Oh, it
Would
was. I
have
actually just
back-
read it
I mean,
yesterday.
I
It's
would
good.
have back then. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories.
If you know who these characters are, you'll be psyched because it's all about those 2 characters.
I do love Cad Bane.
fighting. You do? I don't know who it is.
He's a intergalactic Wild West bounty hunter.
Okay. Well, the art is good in it.
Static Shadows of Dakota.
This is another one where I'm like, did you read the first? I mean, I guess I don't know. It's like it doesn't look like Static to me. It looks like I don't know. I don't like the art.
Yes, and it's weird that it's actually Shadows of Dakota Fanning. That seems like a really weird choice.
Wait, what?
Storm number 5. Storm number 5 is out.
Yeah.
It's a comic book. There is a certain demographic that loves this book. Like, some
Nice.
people think it's fucking amazing. It's not really my cup of tea, but people are. There is definitely a cadre of die-hard fans who are eating this series up.
I do think that there's a certain like sort of almost like I don't want to say like a sexual fetishization,
but
but a
you're-
fetishization of punk rock Mohawk Storm.
Yeah.
Not like Storm wearing her normal costume with like a mohawk like they do now in the but like that actual 80s
I
like
think
Love
so.
and Rockets era like Paul Smith Storm Mohawk. So
I can kind of see it. There's definitely something to that. We got Stuff of Nightmares by R.L. Stein.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a comic. It's not good.
Yeah.
Summoner's War Awakening.
Yeah.
We've got Tales of the Titans starring Donna Troy.
It's fine. I'm a Titans person, so I bought it.
I like the Turtles, but I'm not following this Saturday morning series, but it looks cool.
Yep.
Immortal Thor. This is the one that we had hinted at earlier, where it was like, oh, big guy, blah blah blah, but he's relegated. This is kind of a spoiler, but he is kind of like taken out of the picture for the time being in this comic. So I think potentially it won't be that same kind of boring.
I like Al Ewing. I like
Big guy
Immortal.
is big.
I like Immortal Hulk. I like Al Ewing's Defenders was really great. I really like him as a writer. I just like 2 issues in, and I already don't give a shit about this comic, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think
but
it's
like
just
it's just.
having a
I
slow
think I'm
start.
just ODing on Cosmic. I just like.
Yeah,
I think
I kind of
that's
agree.
like really. I just need to break. I need more street level stories.
But here's the thing. You know what I'm not ODing on
What?
is super science stories.
Which
And
is?
Ultimate Invasion is
Oh.
serving me the helpings of street level super science, where it's in rooms, people talking crazy science and solving problems with crazy sci-fi crap.
Nice.
But it's superhero-y, and it still has the flavor of the old Ultimate series. I'm really liking that.
Nice.
I think it's great. I think like
Cool.
the way that the problems arise and are solved by crazy wackadoo mad scientist shit is awesome. It's
Nice.
a very fun thing, and I could read this all day. Like, I could continue with this series forever, but that's how I felt about Ultimates, and then they released Ultimates 3 and it was fucking awful. So maybe
Is that the Joe Madureira
Blah.
one?
I mostly liked it back when the Hulk was eating people.
Yeah. I was hit or miss with Ultimate, but I'm one of those people that like really liked Ultimatum. I thought it was so funny.
It's very funny.
It was so
really
fucking funny.
It was
The
really
comic
funny.
is like really entertaining.
It is. It's hilarious.
It's so dumb.
It's,
It was a terrible idea, and they should never have done it.
No,
but
of
it
course.
was really fun to read and make fun of at the time.
was Ultimatum, which comic? It might have been. This might have been one of the X-Force comics I'm thinking of. Which one had Nightcrawler teleport a shark inside the Blob?
Ooh, I don't know. It's not Ultimatum that I
What-
know of. Might have been a tie-in.
It was either Ultimatum or it was Uncanny X-Force. It might have been Uncanny X-Force.
It might have been because in Ultimatum, what happens to the Blob is that Giant Man grabs him and bites his head off
Right. Right.
because he ate the Wasp.
Right.
And
makes
possibly some other superheroes as well. It was
There's
really
so
weird.
much-
I was like, when did he just like is a cannibal? It's like, okay, like there was so much just
I like that. That's what your
did-
problem with it is. It's like,
Oh, I mean,
literally
I didn't
the
have a
only-
problem. I love it.
like, the only thing about the Blob that you know is that he can't be like, nothing can do that to him. So the idea that his head.
Well, I don't
comes
think he
up-
picked him up. I think he just bit his head off. I don't think there's any rule about the Blob that says you can't bite his head off.
Really, like, you can't shoot
You
him.
just
You
can't
like
move
hit him with
him.
a tank. You know,
You
like
just can't move him.
Oh, okay.
He
Maybe
didn't
that's
move
it.
him. He just bit him.
Sure. Doom Patrol. It's unstoppable.
I like it. They're throwing like every version of the Doom Patrol against it's like spaghetti strands against the ceiling on this thing. It's crazy. It has like, oh man, there's like tons of characters from like the Morrison run, from the original run, from it's bananas actually. Like, I know this comic is nothing is going to happen from this comic. It's got one more issue and then it's done, but the art's good and yeah, it's crazy. It's just this comic has it finally got crazy enough for me to be really into it like
Nice.
2 issues before it ends.
That's perfect.
Although I did really like that one where they were in the car.
Oh, speaking of things that are really awesome, hey, look at what we got here. A new Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh yeah, it was my first comic of Usagi I bought in a long time. I'm gonna read it and I'm looking forward to it.
I think this is a real perfect jumping on point for Usagi. I love that this is a new ongoing, and it just looks awesome, and Stan Sakai doesn't look like he's skipped a step.
Yeah, I mean it's maybe a little bit more bear than, but I don't know. Like, is this a new one or is this a
I mean, this
color version of one that already came out? I don't.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean,
not
it is
sure.
it is Ice and Snow. I don't know. Is that an old series?
I don't know.
It might be. Maybe that's why it looks like he hasn't missed a step, because it's something he did a long time ago. Yeah, it could be one of the old Fantagraphics ones. But either way, it's awesome.
It says also known. It might be, yeah. Also known as Usagi Yojimbo 5 Issue 1, Volume 5 Issue 1, and Usagi Yojimbo 270. No, I think
so
it is new.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we have Vampirella Rage.
Dracula.
Rage Dracula.
Vampirella Dracula Rage, I believe it's called.
I think it's
Rage
Vampirella
Dracula.
Rage Dracula.
I mean,
She becomes
that's
a
cool.
Dracula when she gets real mad.
Yep, she gets roided out on Dracula blood.
You know, you got to assume that if you do eat roid blood, that you do get jacked.
I mean,
It only stands to reason. Void Rivals, the most confusing Transformers comic ever written.
yeah, I feel like I was on board for the first issue, and then I just kind of was like, I don't know. Now we're like 4 issues in, and I'm kind of like, I already don't give a shit. So
I don't know what's happening, and I don't care.
I stopped it. And also I know that like when the Daniel Warren Johnson
Exactly.
Transformers comes out, that I'll just get that, even though I don't even like Transformers. I just love him so much. I'll be like, okay, I'll get that instead.
Exactly.
This
It's
thing is
gonna
just
be
these
good.
aliens talking to each other. I don't know, whatever.
And they're not even fucking Transformers.
Yeah, they're not.
What's the furthest place from here? What is it?
I don't know, but I got to catch up on this. I haven't read the last
I
bunch.
hope it is
and
really far
I
away.
do really like this comic, or I did really like this comic. I just like I'm like 5 or 6 issues behind now. I need to read them.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Wild Cats. Wild C-A-T-S, that is.
It is. Some of my favorite superheroes are in this comic, and I still don't care about it.
You love Grifter.
I love Arsenal and Black Canary, and they're both in
You
it.
love
Also,
Grifter.
Batman's in
You
it.
love Grifter.
Yeah.
Meow
I
mix,
like-
give me Grifter.
I think Grifter is a well-designed character.
I do too.
but
I think-
don't
I
particularly.
think that his face napkin is dumb, but you know,
I like it.
whatever. It's fine.
It'd be easy to grab that and pull it off of, but
But he'd shoot you first with his alien DNA.
yeah.
That's what he is, right? He's half alien or
No,
some
no
shit.
idea.
I think
I thought he was like Gambit.
no. There's something
I thought he was a
about
Gambit.
all of the Wildcats that like they're genetically half human and half alien or whatever those things.
I thought
were.
just some of them were.
Oh, maybe it is just some of them.
There's the white-haired one that's in Birds of Prey now, and then there's the midget. Or sorry, the little guy.
There's a little person in the Wildcats.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if there is now. There was. His name was Jacob something.
Huh.
I read it. I read like maybe the first couple issues of the Jim Lee run, and then when Joe Casey started writing it, I read a couple issues of that run before abandoning it. I don't know.
Do you think that Joe Casey gets a lot of work because people think he's Joe Kelly? Like, do you think that happens the same way it happens with me, where I'm like, oh my god, he's
Everybody
so good.
thinks you're the comedian Gallagher, and then
Exactly.
you get all these gigs.
I get so many corporate gigs and like sponsorships from watermelon companies.
Yeah, it's
People
just
are like,
okay, sure. I'm not gonna turn it down. Run
and I
the
just
business
show
here.
up and I'm like, I don't know.
Just put on your bibs.
Everybody, the first three,
Here's got some watermelons here.
yep, the first 3 rows will get wet. Anyway, X-Men: Days
Oh
of
man,
Future
did
Past.
Gallagher ever do a show with Guar? Because that was a real missed opportunity.
I
if
mean,
not.
okay, so
Gallagher is dead, right?
Gallagher is dead. His brother Gallagher 2 is still alive.
Gallagher too. Hook up with Guar. You got to do a tour.
Are you saying that maybe I should just form a band called Gallagher, and it's just Guar, but I use a sledge-o-matic?
Yes,
watermelons.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
That's
I think
what
you're
my
I
suggestion.
think you're probably right.
Yes. State Theater. Here we come.
And last but not least, I would say, is Realm of X #2. I still think this book is awesome.
Okay.
I still think this is the most fitting successor to Excalibur that has been done in a very long time. I like this type of magic story. Like, X-Men and magic are not my biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of that, except for the original Excalibur. But this is treating that in a way that I am enjoying quite a bit.
Nice.
That's what I will say. I like all the choices of characters. Doesn't hurt that Marrow is one of my favorite characters. You know, choosing her was a good one. I enjoy her. Her attitude has kind of gone away, which was 90% of what I loved about her, because now that everybody's all gushy friendly and unity with the mutants, it's like there's less of her being like, fuck you pretty people, I hate you, you guys get everything and I have to live in the sewer, because, you know, she did have to live in the sewer, and that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it was.
That was kind of a fucked up thing.
Oh, you make bones? You can live with the other losers in the sewer, dickhead.
But also, she definitely suffered from that, I don't know, Janine Garofalo, Tina Fey syndrome, where it's like, you'd only be like kind of a model, not a supermodel, so we can play you as the ugly person. And it's like, fuck you. You're like... That's dumb. And so she's like just attractive but has like bones sticking out of her shoulders, and you're like, well, yeah, but she's still a gorgeous woman with bones sticking out of her shoulders. In the real world, that wouldn't stop people from putting her on magazine covers, I don't think.
No.
I don't think if Keanu Reeves had like bone spurs sticking out of his knees, people would be like, look at this hideous monster. You'd be like, wow, he's pretty and he's damaged.
Remember that guy, the Morlock guy that was called Mask? And he just like made your fucking skin fall off and shit.
Yes.
And they were like, that guy deserved to be down there. Like, it's like, what are you going to do with that guy? He was mad at everyone. He's like, I'm ugly, so, and he'd like make people all fucked up.
Yes.
And it's like, you can't be around that guy. He's like, he's just,
but also,
you can't play nice.
Wasn't Mask's thing though that like if you left like the 30-foot radius of him, that your face got better?
I don't know.
I think so. I think he was like one of those like leech he was like a radius person.
They always got leech to make it go away.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't remember the radius thing.
I think he was one of those, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a bunch of X-Men that just wound up with fucked up faces forever.
There was one. It's the one that has the David Mazzucchelli cover that is just, and maybe he drew it too. He didn't draw the cover. There is a cover that he drew that they rejected, which is 10 times better than the one that they did use, and I never will understand it. And then he drew the inside, and it's like he makes Rusty. Remember Rusty?
Yes, he was. That was Leech's.
Rusty was in
friend.
X Factor #1. That Rusty was the first mutant that they rescued when they became X Factor.
Yeah.
And then he was the kind of the leader of the X Terminators. Yep. And Skids, he was with his girlfriend. Skids was not a good name for a character. I mean, despite the fact that her character, her power did make people skid. It's like,
I thought you were gonna say they made her shit their pants.
That would be. I mean, don't they have a mutant now that makes shits ice cream?
Yes,
they do.
Yes.
So
his name isn't his name like
his name should be Skids.
His name should be Skids.
Skids too.
No, he does secrete ice cream. He doesn't shit it, but it is.
He does shit it.
It's so hard to.
I thought that was like literally the deal. I thought someone was like, they were like, you can create any mutant. It was a contest, and someone created a mutant that shit ice cream, and they were like, we're going to use this one.
And he was in a comic book. He was in like X-Force or something.
He was in one of those Hellfire galas or something.
Yeah, he was in the Hellfire gala issue, and he was in the rescue team, because they're doing the like mutant outreach team.
Yeah, that's right.
It was supposed to be like the Red Cross of mutants, which I thought was such a great idea, and I really enjoyed it. And it got like 2 seconds to breathe, and then was
the only comic
throttled.
Jerry Duggan can write is one where people just murder people.
Yeah,
that's all he has in his really fucking artistic toolbox.
That is very sad, but there you go. Same could be said of me. Anyway, that's awesome. Oh, and another thing, there's also a Rat Queens out this week. That is, I believe that. Can you grab me that Rat Queens?
Rat Queens. Oh.
It's like a trade paperback.
I thought
but
it was a trade.
But I think, I could be wrong, I believe this is a one-shot original graphic novel.
I skipped it. I'm sorry. I thought it was like a trade
Sisters,
that you put
Warriors, Queens. I believe this is a new thing. You know, we don't really do trade paperbacks, even though we probably should. It's just too difficult. And but yeah, this thing I think is all new material. I didn't see anything in the interior that said
I
otherwise.
apologize. It looks like it's like a couple different stories.
Yep, looks cool. It might even just be a collection of the one shots. So who knows?
I don't know, but I didn't mean to skip it. I thought it was just a trade that was filling space.
Yep, it is not. I don't think. And
no slight.
And you can follow us on at Coast City Comics on Instagram. You can follow us at Actually Comics. Please purchase items from Coast City Comics. You can buy your weekly books from us. They come out. We put them up, list them on the website every Tuesday, and then they ship out Wednesday morning, and we'll get to you as quickly as the mail can possibly fly there. It is pretty fast. We also have all sorts of other things. Check out our website. And it really helps support this podcast and support the store and my sick cat and all these things.
Yeah.
And Bob, you can be found at
Dollar Binge.
Dollar Frickin' Binge.
At Dollar Binge.
Nice. CoastCityComics.com. Do it.
Yeah.
We love it. We will see you next week. Good night.
Bye.